First, pledge of allegiance. Thank you, God, for delivering us here safely to do the work of the Public Service District. Keep our minds open, let us absorb a lot of information and make decisions that will benefit our constituents. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Roll call, or a
Freedom of Information Act. In compliance with the Freedom of Information Act, notice of this meeting must be given to the of this meeting and persons expecting notification. Commissioner Brown Charles. Here. Commissioner Clifford. Here. Commissioner Grant. Here. Commissioner Laughlin.
Here.
Commissioner Milliken. Here. Commissioner Folson.
here.
Commissioner Wood. Here.
We're gonna have to update for district manager.
All right, so as usual, there's a lot going on in the district right now. I sent an all your users email on Monday, the 29th of March, and that was with the most recent update from the state concerning the rollout of COVID-19 vaccination program. I'm happy to report I got my first vaccination Friday, the 2nd of April. I found an available appointment using the vaccine finder that was in the a link contained in that email. So I didn't experience any side effects from the first vaccine. After getting my first shot on a Friday, I was able to hit a bucket of balls Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I automatically get my second one scheduled for the 30th of April, and they schedule that second one when you do your first one. So the only one I could get was the Moderna. On Monday, the 25th of March, I emailed the commissioners CBRE's marketing brochure for Old Fire Station number 1. Fire command staff has been on site for all the showing for CBRE to the prospective buyers, and I'm happy to report there's been a lot of interest. So final and best offers are due to the district this Thursday, the 15th of April, and I hope to be able to present to the commission one of those final and best offers that we deem appropriate to present to the commission the next regular meeting, the 26th of April. Much more information to come. So in addition to the potential sale of Old Fire Station number 1, the 26th of April regular meeting will be jam-packed with a theoretical first reading of the fiscal year 22 budget, as well as a theoretical first reading of a wastewater rate increase. The district has posted on its website an RFP for auditing services, and that was posted on Friday, the 26th of March. The due date for responses to the RFP are on the 17th of May at 3 p.m. Just to give you an idea, the Brittingham Group is who has done the audit the last 3 years. So the last time we had to do this, we went for a 3-year contract through a competitive RFP process. We'll do the same thing again for the auditing services RFP. And I will be hopeful that we could expect to see a recommendation to the commission at the regular meeting on the 24th of May, 2021. The commissioners can also expect to see an RFP for financial advisory services posted on the website this week. It'll be on South Carolina business opportunities and posted in the paper. And this is a very similar timeline where the commission can expect to see a recommendation at the regular commission meeting on the 24th of May. So, based on discussions with bond counsel, the commission can expect to see changes incorporated.
So that's to the financial advisor.
Yeah, the Boston Municipal Advisor, Mr. John Kenny. And so we have a financial advisor in Boston. And there are a plethora of financial advisors that are here in the Low Country or the region that can model out some specifics as far as future revenue projections, future expenditure projections based on the the capital investment, capital outlay needed to acquire assets, and how that looks against future, revenue. And so, we really haven't had,
That was the roof, the person.
No, there's John Candy from Boston Municipal Advisors.
Okay, all right, I got it. Thanks.
Sure. So based on discussions with the bond council, the commission would expect to see changes incorporated into the fiscal year 22 budget ordinance that reflect revisions and carry forward in the future years. And as a result, the commission can also expect Lawrence Flynn from Post Flynn, the district bond council, to attend the regular commission meeting on the 26th of April, go through, these are not slight changes. They're significant changes in language, sort of look a little bit different, and we can explain why those changes are incorporated in there and why it looks different. And then, based on that, be able to model that as template moving forward. Tamara will be posting the meeting notices associated with the solid waste committee meeting next Monday, the 19th of April at 6 p.m. here at Town Hall, and that will be immediately followed by the wastewater committee meeting at 7 p.m. same night, same place, right here at Town Hall. I really appreciate the members of the commission and their willingness to meet on Monday night. We're going to keep that rolling. Commissioner Grant has organized a fire committee meeting for the 3rd of May. That's the following Monday after the 26th of April, and there will be much more information to come on that. So, those are my updates. I wanted to recap and wanted to thank the commissioners that provided questions in advance to this meeting. The team has spent furiously putting together, digging for answers to provide clarification tonight for some talking points that will be incorporated in the presentation. There will be a few extra handouts that you're not going to see in the slides based on being able to get answers together for the questions received. So we have an action-packed presentation for this evening, but I wanted to help the members to better understand the impact to their constituency based on the proposed general fund operating millage increase and the proposed increase to the wastewater rate. So we took some data mining efforts with the county, some data mining efforts within BSNA utility billing software. But we can present the commission with figures associated with what the proposed general fund operating millage increase means to the average tax bill of a PSD resident. We can also now present the commission with figures associated with what the proposed wastewater rate increase will mean to the average monthly utility bill. And so breaking it down so you can better explain to the constituency what this means. We discussed a 4 mil increase at the meeting on the 12th of March, 2021. There's 2 factors that made my initial request not possible to increase fiscal year 22 operating budget by 4 mil. The long story short, 3.5 mil is the maximum amount the district can increase the fiscal year 22 general fund operating millage. Based on Lawrence Flynn's presentation in the fall of 2019, there were over 7 mils available to increase the district's operational millage. However, the district moved 4 of those bills out of debt service fund into the operating fund, and that counted towards the operating millage available. That took out over half of the originally available 7 mils away from the equation moving forward. The other factor that contributed to reducing the district's available operating millage was the countywide reassessment that took place last year. Each of the district's mills became more valuable as a result of the reassessment. However, the room available to increase the operating millage was also reduced. Based on these 2 factors, the total operating millage increase for the fiscal year 22 budget is now 3.5 mils instead of the previously proposed 4 mils. We're going to get into the details on that. Based on our previous discussion, last month, the 3.5 mil increase for fiscal year 22 general fund operating millage was incorporated into the general fund revenue figures that will be presented to the commission tonight. And the thing, sure. So based on our last discussion, the 3.5 mil increase for fiscal year 22 general fund operating millage was incorporated in the general fund revenue projections that's gonna be presented tonight. And the same thing, the 9.5% increase for wastewater rate, for fiscal year 22 proprietary fund, the wastewater fund, that's been incorporated into the revenue figures that will be presented to the commission as well. All right, so when I'm done with my recap here, we're gonna move right into 5, 6, and 7 of the agenda, all right? And so each one of those agenda items has slides and a presentation to go with it. So I asked HR Director Blazinski to put together an overview of the salary changes to the district administrative department from 2018 through the present. So Lisa presented in detail the number of positions the district used at the last meeting. Based on that information, I received questions from the commission concerning salaries and compensation. And I wanted to have Lisa walk through the changes to the administrative department in 2018. So Lisa has talking points prepared to walk the commission through the slides to provide a better understanding of the visualizations associated with these changes. And with that, I'll turn it over to Lisa.
So, as David mentioned, last month I presented some equity report. This month I'm going down into our administrative department and show you some insights of changes that we've made in the last few years. Administration includes everyone working in building one, district manager, the administrative services manager, all of finance, and HR. This slide, the figures represent a net change from eliminating or postponing hires, as well as hiring of those positions. Changes are based on the annual salary of a full-time employee or employee. As you can see from this slide and supported information from last month, administration has been reformulated processes, implement software to streamline processes, and utilize this our human resources. Next slide. Basically, this is what happened. And I'm pretty good at PowerPoint, but I'm not super sophisticated, so I wasn't able to have to third access on it over the years. So I'm just going to go through the story. I kind of went through this last month, but this is a little more detailed this one happened. And so the first change you see on the slide, $12,000, was a social media consultant that we had that was less than we wanted. So we made some changes and we distributed the responsibility between 3 of our staff. And that's the $9,000. And then in February of 2018, we had a change in CFO. Actually, we had a CFO meeting. And at that time, our assistant CFO moved into interim CFO, and that's the $31,000. That CFO determined that there was not a need for the assistant CFO, and therein is the $71,000. In doing so, we also promoted the fiscal accounting commission to general ledger account, and that's the $11,000. Of course, the 150, y'all know Robert Wise left, and we fill that position for a little over a year. She took on responsibilities of the district manager and served as the interim and prior to, and we paid out $25,000. That all happened in 2019. Our customer service supervisor was promoted at that time to revenue collections manager. The next one is our payroll specialist. And our payroll specialist is on December of 2019. We did have to temp for a little while and then decided that we were not going to fill that position. So in 2020, we eliminated the payroll specialist, and myself, our HR analyst, and GL accountant took on more payroll responsibility, and that's where the $15,000 comes from. In June of last year, we decided not to fill the customer service representative job that became open when Stephanie transferred to wastewater. And we paid that much money by not filling that position. So what happened? In March of 2020, these aren't really in order, but fall 2020, we promoted Cameron to administrative services manager. Of course, in November, we hired Dave. And then in February, we hired Ed. And we also have determined that we are going to not fill the account payable position. And then we also transferred our money administration to wastewater, and that was $835. So that's the minutia of what happened. And then the last slide is a net of all those changes. And net payroll savings of $105,000. And this represents reduces the changes from the first slide. The cost associated with these deductions reflects the tax savings. Each payroll a month, the salary and the cost of paid immediately out of the general fund and those other funds. And the administrative department, of course, supports both the general fund and wastewater fund. We'll just use in more detail from Jim. Presentation. Do you feel like with this reduction that people aren't doing overwork or they're not doing on their days or everybody kind of comfortable with it?
So when I
You feel
started,
confident that I'm sorry.
yeah, so when I started, Chief had already made the decision as far as payroll. And so what I started doing is really trying to compile all the different duties associated with the position descriptions within finance. And I wanted a quarterback as far as a finance director to oversee everything, dedicating, one position very heavily revenue, one position very heavy expenditure, and then finance really also had the revenue collection specialist in there to be able to, collect the utility bills. So with that support system, you have quarterback, revenue, expenditure, support for the revenue. With that, obviously, you have to continuously realign to more or less, but we've been able to adapt so that the payroll with ADP, we're processing, a minimal amount of payroll in-house and letting that work with the ADP software. We have some improvements to make, trying to streamline that, as well as getting everybody up to speed with the PSA as far as the purchasing and the PO and requisition process. But those will be continue to distribute throughout the district, so it's not concentrated in finance.
In November 2019, we moved from Sage Software and HR to the ADP HR, so that we had single entry, key entry for one. So the database is being managed in the ADP completely, whether it's payroll or HR. And then it was was it August of 2018 that we got BSNA? It was 19, August of 19. The BSNA has been a big streamliner for the finance area.
So I'm hearing this right, for the jobs for positions that were eliminated and individuals that took on more responsibilities, they were compensated. Did the job description change to reflect that?
Yes, ma'am.
So who is in charge of actually rewriting job description to, I guess, incorporate the necessity of the responsibility?
Well, the department manager and myself work on the job description or the position description, and then it is approved by the district manager.
And I can tell you, I use the framework of what Keith and Lisa put together for the finance director, and then based on everything that I, needed to see in there, I kind of broadened that to be able to show the, the whole picture of what actually needs to get done. So we have responsibilities between camera and Deputy Chief Engelman, and then the solid waste administration system.
And that's what they was talking, that does get that $1,000.
It is. When I found out it was presenting, I realized that not all of that was accurate. I just realized that looking at that. So there's 3 people in there, and 2 of them were not in that team.
So it's a website, there's going to be a lot of camera, and a lot of social media is, camera, Sean, and Stacy. All right. So, based on questions received from the commission, the finance director and the revenue collections manager were able to provide detail on the number of meter sizes, an explanation of what non-human customers are, and so I also had a member of the commission suggest a financial model for what a 5% increase to the wastewater rate would look like, instead of the proposed 9.5% wastewater rate increase incorporated in the fiscal year 22 budget. So after Ed and Joanne, Jim will also go into detail and explain as to why the 9.5% increase is needed to keep the district in compliance with the debt service coverage ratios required by the bondholders. The proposed 9.5% increase to the wastewater rate was calculated by Will Dan and Associates, and there was a rate consultant that performed an update to the district's 2019 rate study to increase revenue associated with the skyrocketing treatment costs the district is being is paying to Plum Island or Charleston Water System. So with that, I'm going to put it over to Ed for his slide.
So we're having some technical difficulties with the presentation. So please refer to your handout in your packet for the proposed wastewater usage rate. Does anyone have this? Does anyone need a copy? Great.
Good evening. What I have tonight, I have two PowerPoint hard copy slides for you, and I have a hard copy of Benjamin's for you. And what I'm going to present tonight is the actual rates that we have in effect right now, the rates that we propose to go into effect for next year, the annual impact that it will have on customer categories, residential, commercial, and then also the distribution of the customers that we serve. I'll go into the first one, and that is titled Wastewater Monthly Facility Charge by Meter Size, otherwise known as a sewer charge. Flat fee is the minimum that someone will get charged if they have no usage whatsoever. So the left column has the meter size, center column has the rate that we have in effect right now, and then the far right column is the proposed rate of 9.5% increase. So I'll walk you through a couple of the first of those. So we have first row 5/8 and 3/4 inch. Right now we're charging a base fee of $18.40 with a 9.5% increase, 7.15. Next row, 1 inch meter size, currently charging $29.44, and a 9.5% increase, 13.24. And I'm down to the page, the meter size increases. We finish up with non-meter customers. We currently being charged $56.83, and at the 9.5% increase, that will be $23. The question might be, who are our non-meter customers? That's typically somebody who has a well. So we have fresh water from the well, but we'll compromise that wastewater. Next page. Yes, sir.
Is there an average residential size? I'm sure there is, but I forgot what it is.
95% of the residents, the residential rate on the first level. The next page, we're going to look at the impact of the proposed rate increase on the annual bill for residential and commercial. So in the first row, we look at residential. We have 6,876 accounts. Right now, the past 12 months, their average annual bill is $666.24 at the cap rate. So we have a cap maximum charge of $107.04. So that is built into that. When you move that cap and increase the volumetric rate and the basic facility charge by 9.5%, able to, on average, increase per year of $63.60. Move down to commercial, we have 218 customers. Right now, over the past 12 months, we charge the annual bill with $1,911.24, with a 9.5% increase. It will have an annual increase of $181.57. So built into this calculation is this. Notice my footnote includes volumetric rate increase from 554, which is our current rate, to $6.07 per CPI. It's at the bottom of the page, you'll see an asterisk. It's the last row.
We don't have any, we don't have
No, I'll the updated slide up there.
Thank you.
We built it into the, yeah, slide.
I'm just, if you're gonna tell us.
Very bottom row. So there's two components to the flat rate, basic rate, and then the next charge.
So if you look at the 3/4 inch one from $18.40 to $20.15, that's $1.75 per month. The rest of that $5 is volumetric.
So at a real high level, each meter charge rate is increasing by 19%, and then the volumetric rate bill is also increasing by 9.5%.
Yeah, I wanted to point out that, I had asked how the number of our residential accounts has changed per year from 2018, and that's here at the bottom of the agenda. It's no, interested whether or not we're serving more wastewater customers, that's all. It's like it's going down, or fluctuating anyway.
Fluctuating. So it, ESNA, our utility billing software, they pre-program the report, so we have to piece together the report and customize the report. So these are approximate investments. Sure. So at the top, referring to the addendum, the addendum looks like. Okay. At the top, item number 1, we have the distribution of our customers on either side. So you can see at the top, at Dixon, we have one customer, and it's commercial, it's not residential. If you go down to the bottom of that table, with the reporter in, and that's where you see the most customers, you can meter for both commercial and residential. As you can see, we have 2,712 residential customers, 3/4 in meter side. That's 95% of all customers. So if you look back to this presentation, that first line for residential will be mostly 3/4 inch residential customers. If you jump down to item number 2, as Ms. Milken was citing, we have there the estimated residential by year. Stay for the study. Any questions?
Oh, it's something for, so, this is Barry's control, and you put a, think about it, understand what you're saying. So I appreciate, the time and effort you guys put into this. Because I really understand and, be able to tell my constituents exactly what we're doing. So thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
We have other fees, and you guys don't have to contact fees or non-fees, or you guys don't have to.
No, so I'll field that one.
Okay.
We have been working with, Chip and Tim, they represent other utility systems, and, we've kind of gone through the ordinance, the fees, we have a lot of procedural updates that we need to make to the ordinance and the supporting, policies that we have, for the utility billing system. And so what we've incorporated into the budget represents rate changes. And then when we have wastewater committee meetings, we'll go into several of the things that we need to change procedurally to get our utility ordinance, the fees, and the collection practices more in line with leading practices. And so, several of those things are, going to include a different process to establish accounts, acknowledging what our pay policies, payment policies are, and then, collecting on those utility accounts and going about that a different way.
We have a large amount of that. We can be cut that.
Yeah.
We'll have to count it up.
So it's just gonna be a different process. Yeah, and so it's gonna be tough to incorporate all of that into with a rate increase. And then we'll present some of these issues at the wastewater committee, and then work on those to hopefully implement those in the fall.
You gotta make some changes on the front end, and that will make the numbers go down. The facing after the bad debt, not economical. So it's really gonna be on the front end.
You're welcome.
Ed, thank you for being so simple and straightforward. I will now apologize.
Yeah, you can answer the name.
Okay, so. So, we've been at the budget, I've been at it much earlier than it was last year. Last year, I introduced sometime, I think, in April, to come into the middle of, right in the middle of the process. It just kind of started and stopped and been put aside, and I came and tried to get up to speed and understand it. I think it's in much better shape this year, it's under control. Our fearless leader has made sure that we are all focused on getting this done in a timely manner, and we really use that focus. Thank you for that. To summarize this in a couple of slides, I think a lot of this has already been discussed, but we saw a lot of pressure from cost increases, in particular the one that really opened our eyes and made us know for the wastewater treatment costs when we provided it. The other one is the overhead costs, which continue to hang over our heads. Other post-employment benefits. Benefit plan is defined in health. Capital expenditures, we looking at things like, do we need a fire truck or don't need a fire truck? Do we have a fire engine on order? The debt required to satisfy that, which creates need for cash flow to service that debt in the future. And the message that we feel like we're doing more with less. We haven't been. I mean, the last resort, Dave went through this last time, we really looked at each other and said, we've got to try to do this revenue. We've been holding it for so long with that. See if we can do a lot of increase in revenue. And so that we went back and looked at the millage issue, and Dave alluded to this as well. This slide may look familiar to you guys. This is what Lawrence Flynn and the gang from his firm walked through a few years ago, that millage bank that Dave was referring to. And if you look over the right-hand side, I outlined 4.091. That's what we originally thought we had available, and Dave said 4. But I had to do a calculation after I talked to Larry Flynn, Lawrence Flynn, and we had to reduce that number because of that millage rollback. If you look at the tax year 21 number, it's 51.5, down from 59.1 the prior year, even though that 59.1 had been up from the year before that. That was as far as we could go, going to Charleston County, without having to basically say we are increasing millage last year. And all this happened, the budget was ready to go, we got to work on this change. And we said we'll leave millage as it is. Yeah, way through 21 with that number. So applying that reduction to that 409 gave us 3.56. So that's why we can only go to 3.5. So one of the things that, as Ed and Joanne went through, we did a calculation to determine the impact of the wastewater increases on a typical homeowner. We tried to do the same thing on the village side. So I went through the detailed information from the county, and I broke it in the appraised value into 3 buckets. Properties, and this is just residential. Properties less than $250,000 in appraised value, between 250 and 400, and greater than 400. And as you can see, we're pretty well weighted to the lower end of that, with 4,000 properties, less than 250, 3,000 between 250 and 4, 1,381 above 400,000. The average tax bill at those levels is listed there, with a total overall average tax bill of $576 a year. And the annual average impact of 3.5 million increase is listed in the far right column, which is $24 for those properties under 250, and that's average. 45 for between 250 and 400, and then 87 for houses or properties over $400,000, with an overall average of $41,000 per year. I just scared everybody. They'll go home if that happens, right? So I took another step, and I was talking last week, and I was nosing around Zillow, and I came across a property somewhere, and I said, oh, that's pretty interesting, I'm gonna check out that property. And so I nosed around a little more, and I went and looked at the tax card, and it's either in the St. Andrews PISD. And I said, oh, look at that tax bill in the St. Andrews PISD. So I went in and found a property in our tax district, we want. Compared that, that's the PIN number I use. I just grabbed one, it was 385 market value, 15,390 assessed value, 876. Got property in St. Andrews with very similar value features, $1,042 for the St. Andrews Public Service. I assume it's similar to us. They provide fire and solid waste services. So that's $169 left. So on average, so even with our increase, we're still $115 less than our neighbors over in the St. Andrews.
I mean, just that isn't a question, but if you look at the Thompson Garland resident, that could, impact.
Yeah, it might be another 40, 50 bucks less.
But that is different.
I'm going to skip this one here. We'll talk about that later. Well, let's talk about the general fund. And I have some charts to back some of this stuff, but the departmental spending increase is about 3%. And CapEx and debt service costs are way down because we spent a lot last year and not 15%. If you look at the salaries and benefits category, it's up 268, but most of that is coming from this. We budgeted the OPEC contribution. You remember 2 years ago, the commission voted to put aside so much money, and the money was deposited somewhere. The others came in and said, well, you can't just leave that on the balance sheet. That's going to be, appropriated. We got to spend it. So this year, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to have to appropriate it in the budget. That's really what's driving the biggest difference in the operating expense for the general fund. So this is a slide that just compares current year budget to last year's budget. Revenue at the top, we're right now using those assumptions on millage. We're at 9,046 in revenue estimates for day 6 this year. Total general fund operating expenses up about 3.8. And you can see that solid waste is down slightly. I think that's largely because the automation is helping you control manpower costs. And fleet is not up that much. Fire's up, obviously due to continuation of overtime and stuff like that, right? And then, so that's the operating side of things. And I broke it out to basically take CapEx and financing and look at them separately so you can see the impact on the budget. And those are way down. Right? That's $1,000,000 last year, $29,000 this year. CapEx side. And on the lease side, we're not going to take any lease financing in next year. We had $1 million budgeted last year. That was going to be $1,600,000. The debt service is going up from 700 to 777. That's the cost of the leases we have in place today, plus the lease we're going to add a piece of lease. That's what it costs to pay that. And then this year, down that second last line, we've got another sources in there, which is a placeholder. I guess it might be made change that as we get more information, but this relates to that sale of assumption of us getting $1 million. So we will generate fund balance of $1,263,000. Sure.
Your employees use more of the money
day. Does that make sense?
What I'm saying,
Every year, state employees make less because more of their pay goes towards their benefits, their insurance, their health insurance. Will our employees have to pay more into insurance, like all state employees do have to do?
The FEBA, who administers our health insurance for the state, hasn't gone up on employee costs for 18, 19, or 20. And so they make that determination for January 1 of each year, and they let us know that in October. But our employees haven't had any costs. We haven't done more cost sharing with the employees for the 3 years that I've been here. It stayed the same.
But it could happen, so, we don't know.
Yeah, they said it once a year.
No, it's the, well,
Oh, you're talking about our share.
Right.
We've committed to a certain percentage or amount. We have not
Our,
changed that.
because we're a subdivision of the state, we did have a 1.085 increase in our premiums, which we are,
You're assuming you're not too long into it.
right.
Okay.
So, now the next, so I got that $9 million up there, the next slide breaks it down. So we assume, so when we run in the slide, I don't want to go through the whole detail, but we get this information from the county, we apply certain factors that the county gives us to it, we calculate what our expected revenues would be at the millage rate we're assuming, and we roll those up by district. When the county gives us that information, they give us 3-1, which is everybody within the district, including the people in the town of James Island. We don't get a breakdown of, we need just town of James Island and then everyone else. We get one. So all the shit you'll see in my budget, they talk about District 3.1, which I call district residents. So the total tax we calculate for that district is $6.9 or so million. We've assumed in the budget that $1.068 million will be funded by the town of James Island under that cost sharing agreement that we did, I think, 2 years ago. So I've left the town of James Island is in here for $1.068 million. District residents are in for $596,458. And in total, that's really the 3-1 district tax. That's all.
So you're the unincorporated resident?
They're the district residents, 596. Wally is, the deal we have with Wally Beach, we calculate on our village against their appraisal, their basic property, the amount that we build them every year in January. We've estimated that this year is going to be 162. The general fund is another amount. Again, this is just general fund revenue.
And so City of Charleston is.
And City of Charleston built other areas, the annex areas of the city.
That in the district resident?
No, that's in the CHS.
Just CHS.
Yeah. And so I've got, there was another question. I want to ask a question about the breakdown between town of James Island and the district. We went further and asked Russell over at the county to get us more information, and we've got a breakdown of 3.8 and 3.1. And put them together and compare those for the last 2 years. really say. So what this tells you is we're relatively flat on the tax base. Not much of a change in terms of the numbers of property. And this is tax year 2019 and tax year 2020. In 19, we had 9,096 units that we passed, and in 20, we had 9,179.
We're gonna have to explain this.
Yeah,
Where is the breakdown between?
So if you look at, let's look at tax year 20. Yep. In District 3-1. That's what you refer to as the unincorporated area, which is the non-founded James Island property. And 3-8 would be founded James Island property. And then you've got the breakdown between commercial and residential. As you can see, we're heavily residential, I'm sure you folks all know that. And we've got more property within the town than outside.
Is it fair to say, or is it not correct, that when I look down here, that the town property tax payer is 5,510, is that right?
Yes.
And the total is that being 1,000,006?
No, that's a billion over there.
Oh, that's a billion?
The
Okay.
sum of the total municipal tax on 3A is 3,098.
Well, not, no, but what is the sum of the district tax?
That's the district tax. They gave us, they sent us a file, and we were identified as a municipal.
What?
We were.
Okay, so three.
That's just our tax dollars applied to those
So
properties.
it's 3 million? Is the PSP?
Yeah, so
tax?
5.4 million altogether. In collections,
5.4?
$5,295,000.
5,395 grand total line, and there's some of net new taxes.
It doesn't include unincorporated results in county too?
I'm sorry, yes.
Okay,
That's the total. So 3.1, remember, 3.8, I didn't even know it existed up until someone did that. You know what that means. No, I'm doing 2020, that's 2000. So 2 million, okay, so you're looking at 3.1 is 2.3 million. Or 3.1. 3.8 is being valued at $3.1 million. Right.
So when you say 1 million tax credit, what happens then?
So one, that would, so that there was a $900,000 tax credit already on these numbers. So if it goes to $1 million, that's the same thing.
Is that here, or, I mean,
I didn't, so this is information I just dug up. I did not have this information before. When I called the company out for tax information, they sent me property information for 3.1 of the whole. It did not say 3.8, and they didn't need to have 3.8 in order to do the calculation so well.
Yeah, and so basically the rest of that general fund, the difference between the previous slide and this, are the intergovernmental agreements. Is following file. So we don't actually levy a millage on 3, 5, 3, 6, 3, 7.
I realize that, I'm just interested in the difference between the unincorporated Carlton County and the town of James Island. And the tax burden for the 55 town residents was 3 million in 2020, and for the 3,600 county residents, it was 2.2 million. And so we're paying now, when we accepted the 90,000 into the town, we're paying down that tax liability on behalf of town residents, where.
Yeah, that number would have roughly been $1 million higher.
That
would have
been very high?
This 3,098,000 would have been they're roughly $900,000 higher, but it's a credit to the city.
Correct. So that goes up to $4 million if the town doesn't agree to the cost share. And so that net tax burden is increased to everybody within that 180.
Right, obviously, my concern is that we're not paying down the tax burden to the unincorporated buildings. Okay. And that's my question too, because I'm unincorporated and my constituents, and that's one of the reasons I ran for the commission. I guess my question is to help me understand. I know the town of James Island gets a credit. My question would be, what is the comparison if you get homes of, say, equal value, 350,000? The property tax, what is the rate that the town of James Island, as a resident, is paying versus the unincorporated?
Still on the amount that.
20% would be the advantage for the town of James Island.
Our tax line on there, or just our tax line on their tax.
If you look back here on the total, revenue, which mentions Charleston and Baldwin, where that page is. Okay. Well, no, not that one. The one that mentions Baldwin, that.
It's on the
If you
screen.
look at that page,
So,
we don't collect taxes from people in the city of Charleston, we don't collect taxes from Baldwin. The city collects taxes from their residents, and on their behalf, they give us this lump sum. Same thing with Palm Beach, they collect their citizens' taxes, and they give us this lump sum, which covers all of your taxes for those citizens. And their citizens don't know that this is going on, for the most part. And it has to do with them annexing our territory. We went to court and we won, and they have to pay it. That's that. Now, the town of Green Island is given about $1 million to pay down the taxes for their citizens. Unfortunately, there's nobody out there, maybe you can ask Joe Biden, I don't know, to come in and pay the taxes on behalf of the unincorporated. So the unincorporated people are paying what everybody should be paying, but the town residents, they have a tax that their council voted for, and it's called the loss tax, the local option sales tax. So when residents shop, or tourist shops, or county people, or city people shop, and the very few commercial districts we have, we don't have a lot, well, you can see by these numbers. They collect the tax. I think it's 1%, I'm not sure. And in terms of this loss tax, the city has it, Folly Beach has it, Mount Pleasant has it, every town, municipality, and state practically has this tax. And the purpose of this tax is because city taxes, as we know, are usually higher than the country taxes. And to help the city people with lower property taxes, they have this tax, the loss money tax, and that is actually collected by the state of South Carolina. And then the state goes this money back out to all the little municipalities, and of course, the city of Charleston gets a big lot of money, and because they've got big businesses. And we get a very little bit of this money for the town, and the town can spend this money on whatever they want. But they have chosen, out of their budget, to take about $1 million and help reduce property taxes for their citizens. So I remember you're not a citizen of the town.
And I realize that. I realize that, but my question is, as a commission as a whole, the entity of James Island, how does the unincorporated get any benefit towards their tax? We can vote to not accept, the agreement and then reduce contract with the town. We can vote to not free our taxpayers inequitably.
If we vote against this cost share agreement, the taxes for the town residents will go up 40%.
I feel like it was a 20%.
Well, it is, but if you calculate what they were paying before, it's a 40%.
How is it 40 and?
Well, 20%, there's a 20%.
But that's fair, if everyone's paying that.
Because it's fair that,
If we're one, right?
look, when I go shopping, some people have a coupon for a discount, some people didn't. Some people sign up for a service and they get a discount, and other people don't get a discount.
With all due respect, when you redraw the line of the government in the town and reincorporate it and cut people who were in this town out of the town, to legalize the town and to have the town provide
Well, y'all, this is
this
way off
solution.
base.
That's
Way off.
really not, because we have $1 million from the town of James Island in our budget there. And this has to be discussed at some point, because our district manager has told us that he's going to bring our budget for first reading this month, in 2 weeks.
That's fine.
So when is this going to be discussed?
Whenever you go to the town, James Island, you need to talk to them about it.
We don't have to accept it there. We don't have to treat our ratepayers and our taxpayers inequitably indifferent. We don't have to do that.
You can always work
The
that
town,
out. Thank you.
the town can issue checks. The town, I know, I'm finished. The town can issue checks to their residents.
Point of order. We're not doing this. We're back on track again.
We're gonna take our money and pocket it. Right?
No, absolutely not. You're wrong. Steve.
No,
All right,
all
y'all
of
stop,
you.
please. Let this man do his presentation, let's get through this, and then y'all can debate this later, but it's not gonna be solved here tonight, it's not on the agenda, we're not doing it.
What does the cost sharing agreement come to this?
The cost sharing will come to us until after the term passes.
Or that is not finalized until May?
They have their first meeting on Thursday next week, and that will be the first time that they are going with the hospital agreement, and, so, they're looking at their activities to, really have their presentation.
I've heard of them until after.
Yeah, they're going to be having a hospital, here.
April 28th.
They're going to be meeting, someone who's going over to the third party perspective on the hospital agreement.
They're actually having a class workshop of the 26th line on April 28th. And they're hearing from master representatives and other representatives about the uses of lost funds and the proper legal use of lost funds. Thank you. Please continue.
Well, one thing I can say about the budgetary perspective, whether or not James Island gives us a nickel, I'm not going to change the total revenue. Whether it's on line 2 or line 20, doesn't make a difference to the decision we're making about whether or not it's going to be our revenue numbers for the coming year. So the next page is just a detailed calculation of, which I think we've all seen before, by district, lists down the properties. And these numbers down the bottom are generally somewhat tied to that slide as I showed you. Next slide is the department spending summaries. We already looked at that slide that had each department's total spend number. It just breaks those spends down between salaries and benefits and other spend, what we call operations and maintenance. If you look at the total of all that, salaries and benefits up to 268, I discussed earlier, most of that cleared by the OPEB. And the operational spend is actually down slightly. And then the last little section is just a rehash of the summary, make sure you the next slide is the way we used to portray the budget. We still do in the book, but this is just looking at it from a statement of fund balance perspective and showing two prior years, last year's budget, this year's proposed, and then projecting out for the next 2 years. And that projection is just based on a 1% increase in revenue and cost, and dropping in amounts if we have a visibility to CapEx in the future. So last year we had money coming in from the GO bond, money coming in from the capital leases, about $1.2 million in capital spend. And this year we have only 29,000. In the general fund, we got $1 million coming in from the sale of the assets, we don't have any other funding. But if you look at next year, we got $1.5 million in there as a potential expenditure and potential refinancing. That's the moment the latter part is being contemplated. And this reflects the village going from 51.5 up to 53 and a fund balance projection of 7.7 million.
I'm sorry, what page are you on?
This one.
Well,
Page 12.
Well,
Okay, flipping over to the debt service fund. So last year, topic of much discussion last year, was moving the capital leases out of the debt service fund. It wasn't something we wanted to do, it was something we had to do. So we moved those 4 village points up. Before we went to reassessment, we had established a village rate of 5.3 in the debt service fund. Discussions with the county and the reassessment team, they told us we could leave the debt service fund as it is. We didn't have to roll it back, so we left it. We're right now only paying for the last payment on Fire Station 4. We're still paying Fire Station 3, and we're paying the GO bonds, the A and the B bonds out of debt service. In 25, the debt service expenditures that we see in the next year or two or recently will go down because that first bond or A bond, that accelerated payment. We'll see it out in the future as the debt service requirements go down. This year, the projected revenues are 841, and the debt service 574,000 against those debts. Those we can count on those and taken off the amortization schedule from the bonds. Next slide is the debt service P&L. You can skip over this one.
that is an interesting point of interest on page 15, is the council designing 0 out the town vehicle tax. So that's another thing that they do for town residents, for those who might not know. What was that, what was that? The town zeroes out the vehicle tax for town residents as well. That's another little extra. You? I'm sorry, that is that simple to tell a whole unincorporated area to do move for a 20% tax. It didn't incorporate a council tax rate.
Yes, we did, and you weren't there, I was. You were not there, so stop pretending like you were for.
That was a ladies' night.
You were not there.
Why were you continuing everything?
Yes, all this was zeroed out in Canvas.
Okay, so, the next debt service, statement of fund balance, revenues at the top, the numbers we looked at, the details out the debt service cost, shows that we're gonna have a surplus this year. We've got a big payment coming in 2 years from now, so we'll likely be in a position to talk about new debt or something else in a couple of years. So, moving on to the monetary fund.
817.
Proprietary fund. So, OPEB reached out and hit proprietary fund as well. Which is driving most of the increase on the salary and cost side for you guys. And actually a little bit more because of the way it was accounted for last year. We had to give you guys a little more of a hit this year than we gave the others. Operation and maintenance up largely is up because of the waste treatment issues. The new meter, the city of Charleston. So admin's up. And admin's up some things because we probably should have looked at something differently last year and didn't. And a few things, I probably should have caught a few things that slipped by me when I was going through the final third of the budget. So admin costs and wastewater is up 165. Part of that is we did not have a bad debt reserve last year in the budget, yet we had a pretty significant bad debt. So we're trying to plan for some of that.
I have a question that may be for legal counsel. What if we within our ability to only raise wastewater rates on town residents? Okay, maybe you can find out if we were only raising wastewater rates on town residents. That's something I can find out about. I don't think anybody here can talk to that. Well, that would be the out.
Your taxes are based off of the services you provide, but I don't think you can parse out the services that you're going to provide.
You can't make the school raise rate on.
You have to do all of the.
Back to the bad debt.
Yeah, so that's, trustee services is a bill that we get annually from the U.S. Bank for the myriad trust accounts they have for all the wastewater, SRF loans largely. We pay them monthly and they hold on to that money and they send it off to SRF, whether it's quarterly, every 6 months or annually. None of them are monthly. The next line, I was included in, when I was here last year, the assumption was, well, there's a CFO in the budget, let's just use that number to cover line that. This year will be budgeted for. In the audit, one of the things we heard from the auditor was how challenging it was for the auditor to make money doing the accounting prices for the 3 years and being out to bid, we realized that there's a corresponding number that in the general fund budget as well. Didn't have a great impact on mentioned in the slide. Then on the commission expenses, last year we probably under budgeted in the wastewater side, the commission expenses. And someone asked a question, somewhere about legal fees. And actually, we had some legal fees in a legal category, but we also had legal fees in the commission expenses that summed up. Yes, so some of that in the might seem legal, not necessarily. Some of it is, but not. Some of that's up to I think we got some up. Legal down appreciation's up as we capitalized a couple of major projects during the year. We've got to appreciate those things. And we did increase, we assumed the rate increase of the 9+% that Ed walked through. And the most worrisome line on here, because of those treatment costs, the most worrisome line on here is that debt service rate down the bottom. We're at 1.34. We really don't want to put ourselves in a position where we're lying to get that. Because if you go below a certain level on our debt, it'll make it a lot harder for us to get any debt funding. We can make it right. So that's what we really put on the alarm bell. Not only, hey, the prices are going up, and boy, they're shocking. Look what it says. why I think we most definitely need the full 9.5% increase. If you have the ability to go higher, I would say go higher. Page just summarizes the total revenue going up to the 9%, 8,973, and the reason it's not 9.5 is because some of those line items we talked about on those other fees we did not assume. Total wastewater expenses up 18%. Interest expense increasing by 20, depreciation increasing significantly, and capital that's non-project. So when we come to you with a wastewater project, we haven't committed anybody to spend their money. We come to you with a project, and we come to you with proposed financing, and you vote on that as a separate resolution at that point in time. So none of that is in this. But this year we did add the non-project capital. You can see it as you look at the front. You can have all that. The debt has $1 million price tag on it from principal, $400,450 in interest expense, another $80 in capital usage. So the total debt service $1.5 million plus is what we use to calculate the coverage ratio. And the coverage is taking our net, our bottom line, adding back depreciation, adding back interest expenses, and comparing them to our debt service. That's the number that we must keep over 1.2, that we would like to keep up close to 1.5. 1.2. The next slide shows this same information in more of a traditional profit and loss format, and projects it out a couple of years based upon, I believe we put another
8.5, so
8.5 next year, 5 after that. 8.5 to 23 and 5 after that. And with that, you get back up closer to that 1.4, 1.5. And the last slide is capital improvement. I hope this is the right one. The last slide. So next year, really, they're focused on, it's kind of like taking a breather, I guess, that you've really been working hard on these projects over the last few years. We're going to go just with $1 million on the found project, the new linings and things like that.
Quality bridge, you got that for 23.
Yeah, that's next year. I'm just talking about this. This year, we're looking at just $1 million this year. $1.2 million overall, 200 of that, likely, we're going to take that 189, we'll ask you guys to do that as part of the budget. The other $1 million, they will come to you with a project later on and propose financing, and it will be at that point in the last year. But next year, the Foley Creek Bridge is in there for 2.5. 25 is extension of Plum Island for $4 million, in addition to that $1 million that we turned into the city for this project. Those numbers are kind of baked into the next few years. So the 23 and 24 improvement numbers, that 23 to $2.5 million, that's baked into that debt service number for 2 years out. See, it goes up to 1.5 million and down a little bit again, so that's coming in. And way too much to go through. I apologize for confusing you on 3.1 versus 3.8, but trust me, I was confused as well, because we're all send those numbers.
On your, department summaries, were you
we have salaries and benefits for admin, fire, cleaning, and solid waste. Are you including consultants in those numbers, or consultants somewhere else? Consultant fees.
Like who's?
Yours.
Yeah, remember I said last year, I was in one of those numbers last year, this year I'm not in it.
Okay, so that was the day when you pulled out.
Yes.
those
This is just in the not our salary,
Right.
all
That's
the
what I
salary,
know.
that's just employees and planned employees.
Right, I think professional services, or other professional services is where the consultant expense is.
I just quickly added that, monthly increases in the salary for benefits and different departments and came to about $500,000. And I realized we hired a different manager and we hired a CFO, but we're also eliminating how many positions?
Yeah, so what do you add? Which
I
line
added
item?
up the salaries and benefits increases in admin, fire, police, and solid waste, which has no increase.
Right, but remember what I told you about the big driver in all those increases. was the way that was. That's included in those numbers, the salary. There's not a lot of raises going on. There's not a lot of,
Talking about raises.
no, there's not a lot of new heads. And there's no real significant increases. The biggest increase in that line is caused by the.
And then the plan, incorporate that into the appropriation.
Can you all bring us that breakdown or something? Maybe because
Maybe that's it with this, I'll really make it better.
well, because we're not adding more customers, but, those costs, we can see what, how those costs increase.
So initially, when the district agreed to fund OPEB, we put $100,000 in the account. And that would have been fiscal year 18. Fiscal year 19, we put $368,000 into that account. Fiscal year 20, I might be off the year, 19, 20,
20 when we in.
21, the big one went in. This year, fiscal year 21, there was never planned into the budget for any OPEB expenditures. And that's what we need to build into this year for fiscal year 22 and moving forward. What Phil Hancock did during the audit presentation is basically you cannot take the can down the road. You're committed to providing these benefits. You need to plan for it, you need to incorporate that into your budget as expenditures. And that's what we need to do. We committed to that plan, we've made reductions to it, and to fund it, this is what it actually costs.
It was $370,000 in total. It spread amongst the fund. So $370,000.
The same thing, like, I don't remember what I was with, because I'm using it. I know, what we were spending right now, you get your benefit. All that,
Well, the ADAT,
Yeah.
the ADAT, which is the amount that we actually are supposed to be putting in to fund retiring health, was $700,000. And when we made the changes to the policy, it reduced it to about $470,000 or $300,000.
I don't want to break down of like, who qualifies for what benefit. Are we still giving them $400,000 $400 a month for, dependent coverage, or, Medicare insurance?
That was all changed, and grandfather, anyone that was born, that is a current retiree. And then we changed it all, but I can
It was scenario 5, I believe, was the last review.
Yeah. But I just wanted to.
And then y'all can see what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Because
not only that, but at the end of annual year 21, and the actuary will calculate and, do all their calculations again for July 1, 2021. And when they do that, I'll be interested to see how that affects our expenses with all the changes we made to the policy. We don't have that yet.
We hope to have that before,
We
we
didn't.
get that before we vote on the budget. It's possible we're right on target. Possible we've done a little too much in here right now.
So where are we funding?
Yeah, so today, the way it works is we're either setting aside numbers, we're setting aside one, which we're saying we're gonna put 370,000 into that fund this year, and expensing that amongst the departments. The remainder of that, we actually expense currently, if there's a current retiree, right? Current
Okay,
retirees, we
premium
pay,
for the
yes,
health
we pay
insurance?
that through our health insurance.
Right.
It's in our health insurance expense. Current retiree benefits are funded currently, but when we actually does an analysis of all that for us, they apply all their actual calculations, they say, yeah, it's great to be paying $150,000 for these, whatever number of retirees they do. You gotta put aside $70,000 for the people who put that road into that. Otherwise, you're not gonna have enough money to the bank.
So you will see, for example, the fire, which is our largest department, with manpower, largest labor. You look at, the detail, the last 10 pages there. In that detail, you flip it over to that second page, and you'll see a line in there that says 01-102 510.03 through health and life insurance. You're gonna see that in fiscal year 22, we budgeted $666,313. So that is the group health and life insurance. That's going up 35.3. So if you take that, any object code moving forward, 51003, right? So then you look at, after fire, you know, the fleet, okay, so 51003. That's down from fiscal year 21 to 22. Then we go into solid waste. And that's up 24% for 51003. So,
That's an important line item.
yeah,
That's costing us a lot.
correct, 51003.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Thank
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Number 8. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. That is what we put together. Obviously, we had the first wave of meetings, committee meetings. We have the second wave of meetings tonight. What we're looking to be able to do is combine all of the figures as well as the detail provided and rolled up into the budget document. And so that budget document, again, that has the ordinance in there, that has the graphs in there, and it has the departmental roll-up as well as the narrative for the budget. And so what we need to be able to do is create that document as far as the budget, the financial plan, to bring in front of us next.
Are you going to separate the amendment and the ordinance that changes money that can go to capital or civil fund without you separating it out?
that, you're gonna have a completely different budget ordinance. Correct. And so that budget ordinance, is gonna lay the framework as far as how the rest of the budget document is created. And so from there, you're gonna see revision to language, and that's why, we want Lauren Flynn to be able to, if you have questions, you're gonna see this a different way than you normally see it. He's gonna reference the bond covenant from 2014. The master bond resolution from 2014, there's gonna be language reference in there associated with that. On the proprietary funds, that's what kind of drives the bus. You're gonna see language in the budget ordinance that talks about amendments to the budget ordinance, how that process works. So what I'm used to seeing in previous roles, we established a budget ordinance. Say 6 to 9 months down the road, revenues change, expenditures change, trucks catch on fire, things change. We gotta be able to come back and establish a mechanism, keep the commission informed as far as where we're at with revenue, where we're at with expenditures, and what the plan is for that. And how you're gonna see that in the budget ordinance is completely different than what you're normally seeing. And say for the last 15, 20 years, you've seen a budget ordinance kind of in that same template framework. I want a different template framework that explains those things to the commission in an understandable language, and that's what we kind of roll forward with in future years.
There'll be more information and explain a lot better than it has.
Right.
Is that utilizing the SNA? Is that what you're talking about?
No, this is
Okay.
language referred to a lot. Yeah, I mean, my plan is basically, you're gonna see the budget document like you normally see the budget document, okay? Once we set appropriations in the SNA, and there's a little path that it goes through and, okay, we've now established the budget. We don't do that until we pass the budget. After that, that becomes basically the general ledger for the next year. You're gonna see reports out of that kind of break down the departmental expense. So you can see on a monthly basis, this is what we budgeted and this is what we spent. And when you see that format on a monthly basis, you're gonna be able to understand how those appropriations are built for next year. And that's gonna be the framework. I would say instead of all this detail like it has here, you're gonna see this produced by DSNA. We can make, yes, that's gonna be the line item. We can make you all kinds of nice graphs and charts and roll-ups like that, but a lot of that budget document takes information out of DSNA, manipulate it into internal spreadsheets that then produce the budget document. And I don't like that. I want the system to produce the actual information that rolls up into the ordinance. And you'll get a flavor for that if we pass the budget, get that locked into the new GL for fiscal year 22, and then you'll see a monthly update as far as year-to-date budget versus actual.
And just for our understanding, it's just Lisa and detail from you for what Jim does.
No, these are the line item details.
General
Right,
ledger.
that's what I mean, this is the detail for what. you
Yes,
did.
that's what the detail behind it.
What you did.
Although it doesn't tell the whole story.
Right, okay.
It doesn't, there's so much that doesn't tell you, especially relative to the future cost of debt service and other things.
What?
You're not gonna go over
All the line items? No.
it.
No. All right.
No.
adjournment.
A second. And we're next committee, then. We have to vote on that, do we? No, we're done. That concludes the Wayne meeting.